Welcome to an absolute brilliant video, the ultimate guide to the Junior GP. If you are a first-time F1 Clash player entering your first event for the very first time, this GP guide is going to bring you absolutely up to date with what drivers and what setup to focus on. If you are a hard, dedicated player, maybe played for many months or years, then also this is going to be pretty handy for you as well, especially drivers and setup. We're going to give you some interesting hints and tips along the way, and also tell you some of the basic information to watch out for in a Junior GP event. So, we already know, and hopefully if you don't already, to unlock the Junior GP, if you look in the very top right hand side of your screen, you've got some little bars. This will bring up your weekly league. If you go to all divisions, you simply need to get promoted from rookie to junior. It takes about 1 week. And as long as you get promoted in the promotion zone, you will make it to Junior 1 and you will be able to race the Junior GP. If you stay all season above that, you can always play this level GP. Now you'll find your GPs in the section here, and on a Monday it will be loaded into the system. So you can see here we've got our latest GP event, and there's always some assets that are boosted for the week. So you've always got to check, because these could affect your driver choice or even your setup choice if there is parts boosted. So all these drivers on Wednesday through to Sunday will get a 10% stat boost on top of their proper stats. So these need to always be checked to see if they're worthwhile. Now if we click into that one, you're going to get a lot of information before you start. So if we go down to Junior, you can see here that it tells you legendary drivers are available. It also tells you the asset limits and the asset prize limit. So you can see Series 1 to 3 and Series 1 to 3 for the running of parts and the drivers, and also the reward. So it's almost what you race is what you earn, in a sense, down in Junior. Now you can select your rewards right here and see how you perform. But also, crucially, keep an eye out on a sponsor task. This always changes in the F1 Clash GPs every week, and there's always something different to go at. Now, the best one probably out there is the race point additional. So the maximum points you can win in a race by coming first and second is 47, but sometimes there is a race points bonus if you use certain assets. So that is a case of now you can go ahead and get extra points. This week, it's all about rep points for your team, but keep an eye out, because I would say, personally, if you are racing your GPs, always go extra for the race points. If you don't have the race points sponsor task and it is something different, don't risk dropping points. It's all about reward. Top right is your tracks, and you can see them for your qualifying round and your weekend racing. Now there is 4 races to do in qualifying, 8 in opening round, 8 in final round. Qualifying take place on a Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. Wednesday, when you click enter, you are grouped with players who enter at the same time. Thursday and Friday are more around players who are your skill set in terms of recent GP performance. If you get random players who are a lot higher, chances are they have only entered GP for the first time. So you just need to get promoted in one of those 3 days. Now at the weekend, you do need to make sure you then get ahead of the promotion zone as well as qualifying, and get through to the opening and final rounds, because points mean prizes, and that's what you would get then on a Monday to level up your parts or your drivers potentially. So we're going to touch on some absolutely incredible information now. We're going to get into your setups to aim for. I'm going to give you some tips. I'm then going to give you some driver information as well. So we all know track stats are absolutely key. When you go through your GP events, before you hit race, it will always tell you the track stats of that circuit, whether it's race start and cornering, it might be speed and tyre management. You've always got to prioritise your setups and your drivers to match off on the track stats. The best way to think about it is the more you match the track stats, the faster your car will go. A defending driver is a lot quicker at a defensive circuit, for example, and that is it's common sense approach. That is just absolutely how it works. You've got to maximise the track stats. So these are what we're going to recommend to you to build for your car setups first of all. and then we will get into your drivers. This is your cornering setup. These are the parts that you've got to aim for your cornering car down in Junior. These are all the parts that you want to be leveling up and going for. Now, it always does remember, if you haven't got these or they are lower levels, it all depends on when you unlock. But the best way to always check is to go and look at some other parts. You can see here, 9 cornering, only 5 qualifying extra. I'm going to take the cornering. If there's a few chances where it's a little bit, I don't know, -1 cornering and 5 qualifying, I'd probably take the qualifying. But ultimately, this is the fastest setup for cornering in Junior once you get these parts leveled up. For the speed setup, this is what you want to be finding. These are the 6 parts that are absolutely fundamental to a speed setup down in Junior. So make sure to go and level up these parts. These are the ones that you want to focus to build the fastest setup. It is up to you whether or not you want to lose speed and add qualifying, but for me, it's all about the track stats. That is your speed setup and the parts that you need to focus on. And finally, you've used a cornering setup at a cornering track. That is your speed setup at a speed track. When you come to power unit, that is the setup that you are going to need. That is your power unit. For you, depending on what level, build your setup out by literally looking at the plus. If you're doing a cornering setup and you've got a part with 3 or 4 more cornering, use it. Same for any of the others. Power unit, if you've got a part which gives you 5 extra power unit, use it. It is really down to building that best, strongest setup for the track stats. So they are your 3 speed, cornering and power unit. They are absolutely crucial to what you unlock. But what about the drivers? That is one thing that we need to consider as well. So I'm going to move my big face down a little bit here into the corner, and we're going to get into now your drivers and a few tips of what we've already discussed, which is going to be vital. So let's go through it then, our ultimate guide. So as we've already covered off, series 1 to 3, you can only use assets that are them series. Series 1 to 3 assets are 1. The AI feels around Series 4 difficulty. That is not confirmed. They are stronger than Series 3, but they feel around that Series 4 difficulty. Now, boosts make a huge difference. You've seen some of my car stats at the moment, and I will just quickly fly back to this one. For example, boosts, why are they so effective down in this series? That is because speed, for example, 75. If you went and then placed a boost, for example, of Skull, you are on 100 speed.
We've got a new subscriber.
As Juan hits subscribe. That is 100 speed. That is massive in Junior, and that is why boosts really do impact it. So if you can use boosts, it is absolutely worth doing because you get such a big advantage down in the lower series GPs. Now, always check the driver parts that are boosts. Of course, boosted 10%. You're going to want to make sure it could be 20. And of course, there is no DRS in this series, so that is one thing to also make sure. Conserve down them straights on each track. Now, our strategy guides will be out each week. We're going to now get into your driver lineup. Remember, the key here is what you've leveled up, and ignore if it does say blocking. It does mean defending. It's just a fact of how the original cards were created. So, your best 3 drivers for overtaking are simply these 3 without legends. Isaac Hadjar is your best driver in Junior for overtaking. You've got Behrman as a rare in P2 and Yuki Tsunoda, the common, for Series 3. He is good at overtaking as well. So they are the 3 you want to focus on. If you are using legendary drivers, it looks a little bit different. Felipe Massa comes in as your number 1 choice with Isaac Hadjar and Ollie Behrman. They are your 3 with legends who you need to focus on when you get an overtaking track. What about defending circuits then? Isaac Hadjar is out there in P1. He is very, very strong. You have got then Bortoletto as your P2 driver, or your number 2 in the common. And these are max level, by the way. And obviously Colapinto is in there as well. So defending is blocking like we've said, but these are at max level. So again, you need to pick the highest driver that you have of defensive stat. They are your top 3. With legends though, it looks slightly different. Felipe Massa is out there in P1, followed by Mark Webber and Isaac Hadjar. They are your 3 best with legendary drivers. What have we got then for race start? Ollie Behrman is your best race start driver, followed by Isaac Hadjar again, and Franco Colapinto in P3. But with Legends, again, it's all changed. Fisichella is your best race start driver, followed by Mark Webber, and followed by your rare Ollie Behrman. Behrman features quite a lot when it comes to our guides. We're not going to focus on qualifying because it's not a track stat, so I prefer not to focus on it. Your best tyre management drivers, Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon, and Liam Lawson. They are your Series 3 and Series 2s. But again, with Legends, it changes up. Mark Webber, Ocon, and then Albon. So they are 3 drivers to really focus on. We have then got your overall. So if you're not using Legends, your overall best drivers are Ollie Behrman, Isaac Hadjar, and Esteban Ocon. They are the 3 that I highly recommend as your 3 overall drivers in Junior GP to focus on. But remember, as you've just seen in them slides, you need to be adapting as per the circuit, so make sure to do that. Make sure to match them track stats. And then you've got overall with Legends, and it's no surprise to see the Legends. Legends hold around a total of 245 total points across all of their stats, and normal sort of non-Legends only have around 225 or 220, so it's a lot less when you're using non-Legends. So if you can use Legends, use them. There is a reason why they are the best down at this Junior Series. They will pay a big advantage. And one thing to note, if you are racing your Junior GP, you might sometimes get an equal score with somebody else, and there is a reason why you might be ahead or behind. It's all down to the tiebreaker that is set in the Junior GP. You have got the highest total points being the first tiebreaker. So let's say you're both on 376. It will then go to highest total points across all rounds. If that is level, it will go to total races in the current round completed. It will then go to total races overall in all the rounds. If it is still a tie, it will go to the best lap time in the current round. And if it is still a tie, it will go the best lap time on all rounds over the whole GP. Now remember, if you are still tied, there is a chance that you will just share that whatever position that you are in. So that's some really good detail for you for your Junior GP. We've covered off what to look out for, the setups that you need to go for, the best drivers to go for. The only thing that's missing is the strategy guides to go ahead with what track and what physical strategies, boosts you should use. And that comes part of my weekly strategy guide. So make sure to go ahead and have a look at that. But that is some really, really good information as to go to tack your Junior GP. We've covered all the crucial information you need to know to go and attack the Junior GP.